with a soft cane to soften it up. Listen, I really appreciate it, but just take it, Mr. Puccio insisted. Montalbano took it and headed back towards the veranda. Halfway there, he felt a sharp, stabbing pain in his left foot. The octopus, which he was having trouble grasping, slipped out of his hands and fell onto the sand. Cursing the saints, Montalbano raised his leg and looked at his foot. He had a cut on the sole, and it was bleeding. He'd stepped on the top of a rusty tin of tomatoes that some stinking son of a whore had left on the ground. Of course the fish stayed away. By now the beaches had become the branch offices of the waste disposal companies, and the coasts were all sewage outlets. He bent down, picked up the octopus, and started running with a pronounced limp towards the house. He'd had his tetanus booster, but still it was best to be safe. He headed to the kitchen and dumped the octopus into the sink, turning on the water to rinse it of all the sand that had stuck to its skin when he dropped it. Then he threw open the shutters, went into the bathroom, and disinfected the cut for a long time with alcohol, swearing in pain. Then he put a large plaster over it. Now he urgently needed a coffee. As he was preparing the espresso pot in the kitchen, he started feeling a strange apprehension that he couldn't explain. He slowed down his movements to try and work out what was bothering him. And he suddenly became aware of something, that two eyes were fixed firmly on him. There was someone staring at him from outside the kitchen window, someone standing there silently, without speaking, who therefore surely didn't have the best of intentions. What to do? The first thing was not to let them know that he'd noticed. Whistling the Merry Widow waltz, he went and lit the gas ring and put the coffee pot on the flame. He could still feel the strange eyes on the back of his neck like shotgun barrels. He was too experienced not to realize that a hard stare like that, so still and menacing, could only come from a profound hatred. It was the stare of someone who wanted him dead. He felt the skin under his moustache moisten with sweat. Slowly his right hand reached for a large kitchen knife and gripped the handle tight. If the man outside the window had a gun, he would shoot the moment Montalbano turned around. But he had no choice. He turned around abruptly and at the same time threw himself flat on the floor. It hurt, and the thud of his fall made the pane on the sideboard and the glasses inside tinkle. But no shot was fired, because there was nobody outside the window. This, however, meant nothing, the inspector reasoned, because it was also possible that the man had very quick reflexes and had stepped out of his range of vision as soon as he'd seen Montalbano turn around. Now he was absolutely certain that the guy was crouching under the window, waiting for him to make the first move. He noticed that his body, now sweating all over, was sticking to the floor. He started to get up slowly, eyes fixed on the square of sky between the shutters, ready to spring against his enemy and fly straight out of the window, the way cops in American movies do. At last he was on his feet when a sudden noise behind him made him start like a skittish horse. Then he realized it was just the coffee bubbling up. He took a quick step forward and to the right, and in this way the far edge of the sink came into his field of vision. His blood ran suddenly cold. Clutching the slab of marble beside the sink with its tentacles was the octopus, perfectly still, eyes fixed menacingly on him. But there was no battle. Montalbano cried out in terror, jumped backwards, and crashed against the stove, upsetting the espresso pot, which spilled 4 or 5 burning drops of coffee onto his back and sent him running out of the kitchen, still screaming like a madman, and through the hallway, in the grips of an uncontrollable terror, to the front door, which he opened to race out of the house, when he crashed into Adelina, who was on her way in. They both fell to the ground, yelling, Adelina more frightened than he was, to see him so frightened. "What's happening, Inspector? What's going on?" He was unable to answer. He couldn't say a word. Still lying on the ground, he was in the clutches of a laughing fit that brought tears to his eyes. His housekeeper wasted no time grabbing the octopus and killing it with a few mallet blows to the head.